Hi, my name is Dawar and you are watching Regent Park TV. As Regent Park continues to be reshaped by large-scale redevelopment, the work of strengthening its social fabric has never been more urgent. On January 29, 2026, the Planning Committee of the Regent Park Social Development Plan met to push this work forward. The meeting began with a brief description and history of the Regent Park Social Development Plan given by Walied Khogali Ali, the facilitator for this meeting. The description included information about City Council's $2.5 million of $500,000 yearly for social development plan projects that began in 2019. Members were encouraged to review past Regent Park TV videos for more information about the SDP. In follow-up questions, we learned from Deanie Peters, an agency and resident member, that as part of the $26.8 million in upcoming community benefits, that there will be a pot of money for community grants that will be made available for TCHC and market residents for activities that are based on social development plans priorities. The priorities will be assessed through consultation every 3 to 4 years. Deanie emphasized that this will be a very different process of funding than previous years and may impact the ability of the SDP network to access this funding for the working group projects. It's also not clear how much funds will be available. This led to more questions about funding. Let's go to Waleed's description of the SDP and the discussion.
Right? So this was done after years of advocacy by residents when there were discussions related to the first public-private partnership when Daniels was selected as the developer partner to revitalize Regent Park. So we made the case you can't just invest in buildings, you have to also invest in people. And so there were these large meetings where residents came together to inform the social development plan and its structure, which are the working groups. And the working groups are communications, community building, the safety network, employment, EED, employment and economic development. So those were the 4 working groups of the social development plan. Now, over time, we've had more input from residents. So there was a case made for other working groups that focus on specific populations. So one for seniors and one for youth, right? So those are the 2 sort of major ones that came out of this process. And so the city has actually been working with grassroots organizations to make sure that there's a forum for the involvement in the community, and also with youth to make sure there's a working group that's also focused on youth. So that's some context to what's happened to date. Another important reminder. Our former councillor and current member of parliament provincially, Christine Wong Tam, secured funding for our community in 2019 by working with all of us to ensure that we had sustainable funding over 5 years, $500,000 per year. So there was a $2.5 million commitment to the Regent Park community through a social development plan. Why don't I pause there and take any questions before we move on to discuss our current campaign and the letter, and also what agencies can do to support this ask. Any questions?
Okay, so this is my first meeting. May I talk?
Yeah.
So I'm a grassroots committee. What can I do to support this? Like, what do I need to be doing besides asking
Well,
for money?
that's an excellent question. We're going to be launching a petition for folks to sign so we could demonstrate numbers. That was something that was highlighted, that was important. We're going to do a letter writing campaign. City council is reconvening on Wednesday, so that's another opportunity.
Oh,
Welcome,
okay.
Hashim. Uh, we'll go to you next. Introduce yourself in a second. So that's
So
another
wait, can I
thing
just
that.
stop you for one sec? So
Mhm.
they're reconvening Wednesday. Is there anything potentially for that meeting that I personally, because I do have, I know that, I'm asking for money that I won't be able to necessarily use, and I say I, but even if I don't get it, but somebody that's in my position would have that opportunity. Is there anything that I could prepare for Wednesday besides just are we allowed to be in that Zoom meeting on Wednesday? Is it a
Uh,
Zoom meeting?
the meeting is a city council meeting, and they will not be allowing people to speak at that
Uh-huh.
meeting. There were public deputation opportunities that happened on January 20th,
Oh,
I think for
okay.
2 3 days. So I spoke to
I remember
different
you asking
investors.
for people to come. You did.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
did. I tried my best to get as many people. We actually had a lot of people come out and speak in favor of investing in the social development plan in two spaces. One at
Okay.
the executive committee of the council, because there was a motion that was approved by the Confronting Anti-Black Racism Advisory Committee
Uh-huh.
asking for continued investments through social development plan and actually scaling up those investments from the current three social development plans, the one in Regent Park, Alexander Park, and Lawrence Heights, to
Okay.
other neighborhoods.
So I noticed, excuse my ignorance, but I noticed like, so I know you live in Regent Park, but why is it that you also include Alexander Park? And is that something that you have to do, or are we all together? Like, why is it that you're
They
speaking for
strengthen
them?
numbers, Karen. They strengthen
Okay, I'm
numbers. When
just
we work with
right.
other communities and we
Uh-huh.
get other counselors to support our asks, we're more likely to succeed because one counselor can make this determination. It's the entire council. And
Right. And so
we
it
have
looks
about
better. Okay.
yeah, we have about 25 counselors and the mayor, but the mayor has a lot of influence over the budget, just to be
Okay.
clear.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay, we'll go to Gail first and then Dini.
Um, yes, I believe Karen, you asked what can you do? And if there's anything I could recommend is certainly Focus has recordings of when we did that deputation. And I think you'll get a sense of um, the mood of the residents and the why behind it. And then the other is Focus again. They have some videos about one of the first revitalizations or the second one. And then they're doing a course with the University of Toronto, the urban planning faculty. And I think that's a great way as well to kind of get some insights um, about different people in the community, right? Like not everybody comes to a planning meeting. There's all these grassroots. You're doing grassroots work, and I think it shows. It gives a good landscape of the community. Sometimes things that we are in our own circle not seeing or know about. That would be kind of my two things. The other is around the letter. We've talked about this letter before, and some suggestions were made. So I'll kind of go back to those suggestions again. Right, we're coming back to someone, it's whether it's the city, the whoever. You coming to ask me for money if I've given you money before. It's certainly one of the things one would want to know is how did you spend that money? Right? What are those concrete things and how did that move your goals? So I think that, we have these four working groups. They've done some great work, and we should include those very key things that they've done and move away a little bit from the hyperbole of we've done great work. What is that great work, right? So those would be my suggestions.
Okay, that's a great suggestion, Gail. Thank you. Dini, you want to go next?
Yeah, okay. I think for folks to understand, you made mention of asking the city to talk to TCHC around the community benefits. You
Yes.
didn't say why.
Okay, explain. I'm sorry for that gap. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
because when we've talked about, ongoing funding, Toronto Community Housing, or rather city staff, seem to be under the impression that we can access the community benefits for funding. What will be available through the community benefits is there is a pot of money from the 26.8 million that is going to be used for community grants. And that will be provided to residents from both TCHC and Market for their activities based upon SDP priority consultation that should happen every 3 or 4 years, which is very different from what we had before, because it's not likely that it'll provide the grant amounts that were available to fund the different projects previously annually for the last 5 years. So it's a very different situation. It's not like, well, there's 26.8 million there, just you can get funding from there. It's the only pocket that really applies there is the community grants portion. I'm not at this moment, I'm not sure how much that is, but like they said, it's going to be available. They're going to do some consultation every 3 or 4 years to ask the residents what they think the social development priorities should be. And, then they'll develop the grants will, have to apply to whatever those priorities are. So I just wanted to make that a little bit clearer for folks.
Okay, thank you.
So before we get into the letter conversations, I'd like to ask Clarence, Fazla. I know a friend from, was it Art Hub? Was it? No, it was, Brandy, please remind me. The first participant was from
Art Hub.
Art Hub, right? No, okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so has your experiences been with regards to receiving funding through the social development plan? I know I was at the Birth Center just last week, and there was a great presentation done by Blandin, who's executive director of the Birth Center, speaking to how $100,000 from the social development plan led to so much positive outcomes and an impact in our community through the organization. So Fazla, do you want to maybe just share your thoughts about that really briefly, and then we can ask Clarence and everyone else who's also part of an organization that has received funding. Fazla? So Fazla, the question to you is, what are your thoughts of investments made through the social development plan, and specifically when it pertains to your organization?
Sorry, I was in the elevator, it just turned off. Well, the experiences has been great. As you saw our presentation on last week, Friday, there was a great outcome. And right now we don't have the funding to continue what we did. And we're looking for more funding. It has helped the community in many ways, especially for the women in this neighborhood, single parents, and it has helped us in many ways in the community, especially with like partnering and engaging with other organizations and
Okay, I think while Fazla tries to reconnect, any new speakers before we move on to Gail? Okay, I don't see anyone's hand up or anyone unmuting. Gail, go ahead.
Yes, the question was about how did the funding support, and I think that applies to anyone who receives funding. So that's why I'm speaking, because I'm a member of an LGBTQ2S plus grassroots organization. I'm also part of Friends of Regent Park, or I support them anyways. And um, yeah, any money you receive to do a project is always a good thing. So that was amazing for us, and we were able to do a few more things. Actually, we have a welcome package that we are now distributing, which would be kind of a tote bag with all kinds of information from about the community and beyond, right? We're not just limiting it to the community. There's St. Jamestown, there's Cabbagetown, there's Moss Park. So we've been connecting with all those organizations as well. And it's a way to welcome folks to the community. And what we've done is we've distributed those totes, or we are distributing their bags, they're beautiful. We are distributing those to organizations and companies, Daniels, Tridel, grassroots organizations, and saying, hey, if there's anyone in your group that you know of, even to businesses that is part of the community or an ally, please give them one of these packages. And that's our way of getting them to know what the community is about and the different organizations that are here and all those wonderful things. So that was great. I think for us, one of the challenges was, we were definitely, the tone of some of the emails that came through to us about people who wanted to participate in kind of a couple of the events we're doing were aggressive. That made us uncomfortable. We really were second guessing, do we really want to apply further for funding if this is how it goes? And that also came through from Friends of Regent Park. They definitely felt that way, and they do amazing work. I think one of the things I can say for them certainly is that they're really good at, and it's the type of events that they do. They're very good at bridging that gap between Toronto community housing residents, or I should say people who are in social housing as compared to folks who may be in market housing. And also the generational gap is one of the things they're really great at bridging as well. So, that was the experience. The other was the use of the Daniel Spectrum. That, as for us as well, was an extremely difficult scenario. We paid out of our wazoo. We signed a contract. We didn't get what we were promised. And we were kind of like given the, oh, well. So, we've had to kind of bring this all the way to Pride Toronto because it was really bad. And for us now moving forward, we don't, because it's not the first time, that's the third time it's happened. So we don't think that it's a safe space for us and our and people to do an event there. So anyways,
This is a
those are my
Daniel Spectrum?
experiences. That is correct.
Okay. Thanks. We've noted that. Thank you, Gail. Miguel, welcome. I know you don't have any audio, so just maybe in the chat you can write, what's your favorite winter activity? That's our check-in question. And thank you, Brandy, for supporting Miguel in the chat. Karen, back to you. You have your
I
hand
just
up?
wanted to make a comment
Mhm.
in terms of I can't remember the lady's name that is it Gail that just spoke about getting negative responses from the community, because I know that there's other ways that I can be as in grants. This is all a new thing for me. I'm learning as I go, but it's interesting the people that come out of the woodwork when they think that you have this money
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they don't really have positive um what's the word, actions behind what they're doing, etc. But also for me, I had two politicians that told me that I had their support because they needed my support. And then once they got what they wanted, I never heard from them again. So I'm a little bit wary of City Hall in general, because I don't know if I don't fit the proper profile, what they're looking for. It's a real learning. learning experience for me, and that's why I'm glad that I have access to this now because I have to come at it from a different way. I intend to get what I want eventually, but I just have to revamp. So this is more a comment, like in just regards to what Gail had said, because it makes you rethink what you're doing in a sense when you get people like that because you work so hard and they just kind of want to jump on the bandwagon after you've done all that hard work. So it's really frustrating. There's a lot of positive feedback at the same point, but those negative ones really make you stop and think for a moment. So, and then I guess too, there is strength in numbers in terms of, this committee here as opposed to myself. So I just want to make that comment.
Thank you so much, Karen, for
I'll
being
lower my hand,
vulnerable
right?
and speaking to your lived experience. And I see the great work you do in our community, and I'm a big fan of you leading initiatives as a Regent Park resident. And I just want to let you know that we have heard this so many times. We've heard about lack of space for grassroots organizations or grassroots-led initiatives, the need for additional resources, capacity building, empowering residents to do this important work. So you have allies in this space. So just remember that.
I'm realizing that. Thank you. Not just to you, but to everybody on the committee, because it is definitely a learning experience. I'm learning a lot in a very short period of time. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Karen. Okay.
The next item on the agenda was a review of revisions to the draft advocacy letter requesting City Council's continued funding of the Regent Park Social Development Plan in the 2026 budget. One recommendation that was made was to acknowledge the ongoing operation fund of $50,000 yearly and the full-time city staff position. The challenge is that the SDP network has no control over the use of this fund or the role and activities of the staff position, both of which are determined by the city. Furthermore, operation funds are not for SDP network project activities. This led to a discussion about the operating funds. Another recommendation was to include an appendix of the success and positive impact of all the previously funded projects showing effective use of the former funding to the SDP. Another recommendation was to include information about the SDP's 3-year project funding to the Youth Empowered Youth Project and the Youth Asset Mapping Project that ended due to lack of city funding. This recommendation is in counter to city staff concerns and statements that youth were not engaged in the SDP network. The final recommendation was to focus solely on Regent Park and not identify challenges that other communities were dealing with. The letter will be revised and resubmitted to the Agenda Planning Committee. Let's go to the discussion.
Okay, so we're going to go through the letter that was put together, and we're going to go through the comments. First of all, I see Dini put some comments in the letter. So I'm just going to share it. And if you can't see it properly, you let me know, and I'll increase the size of the text for accessibility's sake. So let's increase it to 150%. So there's a comment here. The request is for the Regent Park SDP network to have restored access to SDFA operational budget funding for the SDP and the return of staff support as these resources are available for SDP related activity implementation within the community in 2026. So it's actually a lack of access issue that needs to be addressed. Dini, do you want to speak to that comment?
Yeah, I think we need to be very specific about what we're talking about so that we don't sound like we don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
When I seen the response you got from Zena, she lays it out pretty clearly that the SDP has $50,000 operating budget and one full-time worker.
Yeah.
So it's not that Regent Park does not have any funding. They have a $50,000 operating budget through the SDFA and a one-time full-time a community development worker. The problem is the SDP network has no access to this money or to this worker.
So
So
who does?
they have two other tables. One is a youth table and the other is a grassroots table. And the city of Toronto has been supporting those tables. They're not within the network. They're external to the network, but they are in Regent Park, and it is as social development. So if we say, oh, there's no funding, the city comes back to us and says, yes, there is. You're mistaken. So I think we need to be pretty clear what we're talking about here. And
why is it that they get these two organizations get the it seems like preferential treatment in regard to the rest of
what
the
happened was the city did a SDP refresh. And following the refresh, they established these two groups based on feedback that they got through the consultation, that youth needed to be prioritized and grassroots groups needed to be supported. So the city has been supporting social development for these two groups.
And nobody else.
Well, can I say something here?
And our access has been, we've got 15 hours of administrative or 10 hours of administrative coordinator position. And that's coming out of that operating 50,000 operating budget.
Michael, you want to weigh in? Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so I mean the grassroots groups thing is more like a consultation. I mean, it's not like some major project where they're putting all the money into that. I'm not so aware of what they're doing in terms of youth. If somebody else can tell us where they're at with that one, but I mean, it's not like, oh, they're putting all the money into something other than the SDP. It's more like they're sort of distancing the decision-making from the SDP. So the money they're spending, I guess they make their own internal decision rather than having, as it used to be, the SDP would prepare proposals. So it's not so much a competition with the SDP as more just like the SDP plays a smaller role in the SDP network is what I mean, what we're now calling the network, plays a smaller role in their decision-making process.
When they meet with the grassroots group, do they provide?
Well, they meet, but there's almost nothing to it. It's a very low-key affair, unless something has changed that I don't know about.
I've been to those meetings, Dini. It's the same people that we all know.
Can I finish asking my question?
Sorry, go ahead.
Do they provide child minding and refreshments?
Yes.
Something very minor in that regard. I mean, yeah, but it wasn't like a huge expense. That's for sure.
Yes, they do provide food. The last time I went to a grassroots forum, there was food, there was pizza, but I suspect they also provide childcare for those who request it.
But anyway, you do understand my point.
I do understand your point, and we're going to make changes to the letter to, one, name that there is funding through the 50K.
We acknowledge that, yes.
Yeah, the full-time staff, and we'll acknowledge that we received that confirmation from the SDFA.
But the network has not received any support from this full-time staff.
Yes, we will name that.
Yeah.
Access. Your point is access.
Do we happen to know how much they have done in regard to the youth initiative?
We don't. Brandy, do you want to comment on this?
No, I don't. No, I would not like to comment. Thank you.
I do.
No. Okay, go ahead.
So because I'm a little bit confused, but like, so there's money there, but it seems like they have first dibs on it, kind of thing, or I don't understand
Well,
what
it's the
Jeannie's.
SDFA. This is how it was told to me. It's the SDFA, that's a department of the city.
Uh-huh.
It's their operating budget for the SDP.
Oh, we don't. So SDP doesn't really have an operating
No, it's
budget.
not
We don't
our
have
thing.
control of it.
Yeah, no.
So it kind of sounds to me that really no advance has been made in that sense because we don't have control of what we would like to do in the
Mm-hmm.
community. Is that
Mm-hmm.
correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
And by the way, I just want to make it clear that that was not the case in the beginning. In the
Okay.
beginning, we did have access to the full-time staff that Dini referred.
Uh-huh.
We actually also had access to the 50K, and then over time that
Was it
access
because
was limited.
they weren't happy with the way that you were allocating funds, or they just like why did they make the change?
Excellent question for
There
them.
might be
Okay.
different
Yeah.
interpretations of that.
Say that again. Pardon me.
There might be different interpretations that maybe each of us might have as to what
Okay.
action.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm new on the block, so I'm just learning.
Yeah, they were
But I'm a
not happy
detective.
with
I'm a detective.
they were not happy with the SDP planning committee. They felt that there was bullying
Mhm.
and that we weren't functioning properly.
We weren't functioning according to
Right.
how they wanted you to
Yeah, they
function.
were
But I
happy
also have
with.
a different perception as well. I think that is part of it. But I also think that it was just a natural evolution of a bureaucratic process where they wanted to take things more in-house. And that
But
would have happened to some extent even if they had no particular objections to anything.
But it would, to me, if they really wanted to help, you have your parents that have the reins at the beginning, but then as a child, you eventually take over. But it sounds like it's reversed, which is
That's a good
not what we
observation.
want.
Yeah,
We
that's a
right? We
good
should be able to
observation.
stand on our own 2 feet eventually, or whatever. It just sounds like now I'm hearing that there's money, but it's only to certain people that do things a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And we're
It's
supposed to be
not
a
so much that it's
multicultural,
for
diverse
certain
community,
people.
right?
It's not necessarily that it's for certain people. It's that it's for the bureaucracy to make those decisions.
Right.
Yeah,
So
Michael, I know
just to
you.
stop you.
I know you want to answer most of the questions, but you don't see that there's other hands up. But
Oh, and
Gail,
I don't either. I apologize.
no
But for
worries.
me,
Yeah.
like I'm just new. Sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees, but something doesn't seem right to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got Gail next, and then we'll go to the next comment. But the point has been made by Dini, so we'll make that change. Then we'll go to Dini's next comment in the document. Gail?
So it's not as simplistic, and I think that's what Dini was trying to say, and Michael was trying to say. Everybody's going to have a different opinion, but it is not as simplistic as, oh, we gave the money to these other people, right? Even this planning table has advocated hard and did some strategic planning that said we should have a youth group and we should have a seniors group. So
Yeah.
there was buy-in, right?
There was buy-in.
And Michael's right. The evolution of time and things change and all those pieces. But also, Dini's right. People and still continue to feel that way, right? And it still continues. We've had lots of emails come in this weekend. So their feelings have been hurt. People are uncomfortable, even when we had all that funding, right? We had, what was it, $500,000 or whatever million it was. And we had a process that as a group, we thought we came up with together. And there were residents who were uncomfortable with that process, right? And so I think a lot of this was we didn't have the right navigation, maybe. Some of the tools that we needed as a leadership body were not there. We were certainly getting, yes, supports from the city, but then relationships were frayed. Things were said that hurt people's feelings.
Right.
And so now we are landed here, and we've landed here with, a person doesn't walk away. I'm a Black woman. I'm a gay woman. I'm a immigrant. I've been homeless. I've lived in my car. I've lived in a TCHC building, paying market rent, but I've lived in a TCHC building. I've lived in this country without status for over 12 years. I was able to go to school. I pay 3 times the amount. I built a business, right? There was a level of resilience that I had to have by virtue of the environment that I was placed in, right? So, you know, this is a community where you have different cultures, backgrounds, and understandings, and so there's the overarching for me fear is how do you play nicely in the sandbox, right? So if I come to a meeting and you put in the chat, I'm anti-Indigenous, even when I haven't said anything that indicates that, how should I feel? Should I say, oh, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to go? I may react in a completely aggressive manner because of something in my history or experiences, right? So I think that is certainly some of what has happened.
Thank you, Gail, for that important reminder of that history. Next, Dini, your next comment was, perhaps this section can be an appendix of successful resident engagement activity.
I'm sorry, I don't see where you're reading from.
Okay, so I'm sharing the screen.
Yeah, I'm seeing
so
the
I'm
screen,
reading,
but I don't see where.
Okay, let me just share it again so you can see it, my friend. Let me know if you
Sorry,
can
thank
see
you.
it.
It's on the
Welcome.
sidebar.
Can you see it now when I share it?
No,
Can you see it?
not yet.
How about now?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
It's
See
on
now?
the sidebar.
Oh,
It's on the
okay.
sidebar.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it says perhaps this section can be an appendix of successful resident engagement activity, examples from all work groups to demonstrate effective and appropriate use of funding provided by the city. Okay, so this is the demonstration outcomes as an appendix. That's your advice,
Yeah,
Dini?
instead of putting it in the letter, put it in the appendix. And because I think what we want to demonstrate, why I wrote that is we want to be able to demonstrate appropriate use and positive impact of the funds that we had received.
Exactly. So Fazla was with us earlier. I'm gonna reach out to the funders, like the Toronto Birth Center. Sorry, the groups that have received funding through the SDP, like the Toronto Birth Center, and
look back at some of the projects, like all of that should be we should have that in the drive.
Yes. So at least naming some of those. And
we had asked everybody to submit these for like other meetings. So this content does exist.
Yes, it does.
There
Okay,
were,
so we'll find this
stakeholder
content.
table reports.
Yeah, we'll get this content to, put together as part of an appendix. That's your advice, so that they could like look at the appendix as all the outcomes.
Yeah, see that there was a lot done within the network that was done effectively and good use of the money, had a good impact. Yes, and the different groups, all the different people that had access to it.
Okay. I will try to put all that together in the appendix. Appreciate that. You put another comment that says the youth leadership that was associated with the SDP stakeholders table was a project of the Regent Park Safety Network, and if mentioned, should be clearly identified. It was called YEY, correct? Show more.
Youth Empower Youth.
Yeah, Youth Empower Youth, and youth conducted participatory research to map and assess the quality, access, and suitability of youth programs and services according to local youth. This initiative functioned successfully for 3 years, but ongoing funds required for the project coordinator position was not sustainable. I think this is necessary because the assumption believed and perpetuated was that there was no youth engaged in the SDP network because they didn't participate in the 4 working groups or attend the stakeholder table meetings. I did see some youth at the stakeholder table meetings, but I get the point.
I can hardly hear you.
I said that I did see youth at the stakeholders table meetings, not in the planning committees as much, except for the placement students or the Canada Summer Job
Yeah,
students that come from RPNA.
my point is that they always overlook YEY.
Okay.
That's my,
Youth
Overlook it
empowering
like
youth.
how?
they never reflect it. They always say there wasn't youth engagement in the SDP stakeholders table network.
And there was?
Yes, there was a group called the Youth Empower Youth. It was a
Okay.
very youth-led project.
So it was successful, very
and it was
successful.
very successful.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they always overlooked that. And it was kind of strange because it was like a project that came off the Regent Park Safety Network.
Right.
So sometimes I think they didn't even identify it as SDP.
Mhm. That's a very wise observation, Dini. Thank you for catching that. That wasn't even included in the letter intentionally, so thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
the
when you
next
do
comment.
when you do the addendum,
Yeah,
reflect it.
100%. I will. The next comment that you put was, while I understand that a citywide perspective is important, I think it will be more relevant and applicable to be less broad and keep the focus on social development concerns with Regent Park. Okay, point taken.
Why did you make that comment, Dee?
Because really, I think we need to focus on what's going on here in our own community.
As opposed to what? I don't understand what
What's happening across the city.
Say that again?
What's happening across the city.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we need to.
Yeah, so there's a crisis of evictions. Most of the tenants that I'm supporting, I have now 12. I will say 8 out of the 12 are TCHC tenants in Regent Park.
Yeah.
Wow.
4 are not. 4 are in other communities. I also, knock on wood, have been supporting 29 different households face off evictions. So I'm almost at 30. And the numbers that I just got from Tribunals Ontario, which will be shared in a press conference next week, speaks to larger numbers than what was publicly reported by TCC. So I know this is an ongoing issue, but I understand that focusing on Regent Park examples is much more pertinent to this letter. So we'll make that change. Thank you, Dini. The next comment, Dini, was again, based upon Xenia's response about 2026 SDP resource availability, SDFA staff will have the letter dismissed on my behalf. Okay. This is with regards to just naming the full-time staff and the 50K. Is that correct? Or is there something else here that we missed?
It's the point that, if, like I said earlier, that unless we're very specific that, in what we say and how we say it, they'll just dismiss anything we say as a misunderstanding.
So
that's what kind of happened with her response.
Yeah, so name that
Who's
they
Xenia?
committed to the following things. Yeah.
Xenia
works
city
for
staff.
SDFA. She's like head of their fund.
She's like the
funding
liaison.
unit. She's the manager of the funding unit.
Yeah,
Okay.
community resources.
It's a very important person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I should know who she is. She would like me asking who she
Yeah.
is in a meeting.
But to her, when I read that letter from her, when I read her email, it came across to me like we were misunderstanding. And she
Why?
just needed to clarify and, give us the information. And now that we have the information, we should be fine. That's not the case.
Okay.
So,
So she just wanted it to go
asking for
away.
access. We're asking for more funds.
that doesn't help us. Yeah.
I get it. Okay, so we'll make that note.
The next item of the meeting focused on shaping culture policy. The Shaping Culture Policy document was adopted to resolve conflicts within the SDP network and creating a welcoming environment of inclusion, respect, and support. In this discussion, we learned that the Shaping Culture Policy document was never implemented and lacked the required incident reporting form recommended by the Planning Committee at a past meeting. Walied Khogali Ali read a summary of the policy to the members.
let's share the SDP Shaping Culture documents, please.
Got it.
On Tuesday, I had said that I really think that the Shaping Culture work group needs to meet. Go through the document from a implementation perspective. And the incident reporting form was never completed.
Yeah.
That is correct.
All we have is draft questions, but we never finalized that.
No, it's not a form that's already done.
I've shared on the screen the social development plan formal conflict resolution process. So the paragraph starts off, if you're in conflict with another person in the Regent Park social development plan, you're encouraged to discuss it directly with that person if you feel safe and able to do so. If you want informal support from another impartial person, maybe you know of people to reach out to who can work with you and the other party to resolve the conflict. The informal conflict resolution process outlines procedures that may help guide you. If you wish to take a more formal approach to the conflict, this document outlines the procedure to use. So there's a link to the conflict resolution process, which is a separate document. So I'm just putting it in the screen. And this is the informal one. So it says, as members of the SDP, we aim to create a welcoming, inclusive network where we each take responsibility for our own actions, where we are mutually accountable to each other and to the network as a whole, and where we seek to understand and collaborate with each other even when we disagree. We agree to follow these guidelines to keep our network welcoming and inclusive. We're committed to working together in a way that does not cause harm to one another or to our community. Most of us are members of equity-seeking groups. We recognize that we bring our life experiences to our work, which for many of us includes experiences of trauma. Each of us has the power to speak our truth in a way that shows care and respect for others, including respect for the many differences amongst us. This includes considering how our actions and words might oppress others. We are accountable to ourselves and to each other. Self-accountability. It can be hard to see yourself when you have an issue with another person or when someone has an issue with you. Consider whether you might have contributed to the issue. Are there any changes you can make within yourself? That is self-accountability. Mutual accountability. If a person brings a concern to you, be open to hearing it and respond from an open space. As a network, we will continue to equip each other to hold productive meetings, to better deal with conflict, and to be self and mutually accountable beyond this guide through resource sharing, training, and ongoing reflection on our experiences. 3 documents make up these guidelines: the meeting guidelines, the conflict resolution process, and mutual accountability. This package complements and is in alignment with the SDP terms of reference. The meeting guidelines are for all members to follow so that meetings flow smoothly with active discussion, respectful disagreement, and clear decisions. The conflict resolution process sets out how members are to engage constructively with each other when in conflict. Mutual accountability outlines how we will respond when meeting guidelines aren't followed, and in particular when the violation of the meeting guidelines is serious. We mean to use this document as a last resort, using the first 2 documents as the preferred guides for dealing with difficult situations. So the first thing is the social development plan meeting guidelines. So the purpose is to support a cohesive, inclusive, safe, respectful, and welcoming meeting where we build consensus together, make clear decisions, where everyone feels heard and we are mutually accountable to each other. How will we do this, you might ask? First is one person, one mic. Make space. Take space. If you have spoken a lot, give opportunity for others to speak. If you haven't spoken, ask if you don't understand or you want to contribute to reaching agreement. Next point is do no harm. We all have our personal challenges. Think of the impact of words, tone, behavior, and actions on others. We can impact or harm others unintentionally. Reflect on how you are conducting yourself. You're doing the best you can with what you have. Speak to the issue, not about the person. No insulting, name calling, no shaming or blaming, including in online chat. Correct yourself when you realize you have spoken in an offensive way. Any communication in speech, writing, or behavior that attacks, threatens, or harasses an individual or group using discriminatory language or imagery will not be tolerated. Taking into account the feelings of others, you may intervene to communicate what you need in the following situations. Convey respectfully when you have been offended, hurt, or discriminated against. Convey respectfully when you believe you have been misunderstood or misinterpreted. You will be able to clarify the misunderstanding or misinterpretation after the speaker has finished. The facilitator might address the issue if necessary. Ask others for clarity rather than assuming you know what they mean. Don't interpret other people's words. Be mindful of time. Stay on the agenda item. No one knows everything, but together we know a lot. I like that one. There's no stupid questions. We all have wisdom. Think about whether you want to get other people's ideas that can help yours. Everyone is valued and everyone's contribution is important. A meeting that is properly called and operating in accordance with the terms of reference can be adjourned only when a consensus to adjourn exists amongst all members. Recording, audio video recording, and artificial intelligence bots are automated note takers sent by a group member to take notes and or record when they are not present. Recording of any kind is subject to a decision by the group. Agenda items can be held in camera without recording. Any person can request that recording be paused during the intervention. If there is no other way to stop it, it can be placed in the waiting room. Meeting facilitation. The facilitator encourages and models respectful conduct that aligns with these guidelines. The facilitator guides the meeting in accordance with the reference. Participants are to allow the facilitator to carry out their role. Facilitators ask meeting members to speak in order of raised hands. The facilitator might ask the person who has spoken little to speak about before others who have spoken a lot. When an agenda item requires a decision, facilitators are to ensure a clear decision is made before moving on to the next agenda item. Try to avoid conflict over process in meetings. Give preferences to discussing process issues outside of the meeting. If a process issue is raised within a meeting and the person raised it and the facilitator are not able to come to agreement in a timely way, the facilitator will put the issue to a vote by the group as a whole. It's expected that the issue will be discussed outside of the meeting. The facilitator is neutral on decisions with the following exception. Facilitators may share their own thoughts on agenda items when all others who want to speak have spoken at least once. The facilitator takes their turn in the list of speakers. Before sharing their thoughts, the facilitator identifies what they are not functioning for the moment as a facilitator. After speaking, the facilitator states that they are returning to the facilitator role. So those are the information on the meeting guidelines. I'm going to stop sharing and see if anyone has questions. And welcome, Shahan. Welcome to our meeting. And the check-in question, Shahan, just before we bring you up to speed on the agenda item that we're speaking to, is what is your favorite winter activity?
Last week, too much snow, and I just back home, and I struck on the street, and after I come back, I was sick.
I hope you're feeling better, my friend. I hope you feel better.
Now it's getting better.
Thank you, Shahan. Okay, we'll go to Dini, and then we'll make sure everyone knows. People are asking me. So in the meeting, we have Clarence Ford, who is with Square Circle, which is an amazing youth-focused organization. And I think you know everyone else. You know Gail. We've got Karen on the call. We've got Miguel. We've got Michael. We've got Brandy and Shahan. So Dini, go ahead.
Yeah, it's the formal process where I see implementation issues. And in particular, previously, the city, through Richard, had said that the SDFA would support the training needs for resident mediators.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's been no follow through. And I don't think it's okay for just anybody and everybody to be mediators when they've had no training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's an issue for me. That's why I don't feel this process is complete.
Mm-hmm. So there's resource gaps, Dini. We're
Yeah,
identifying that as a need. Yeah.
to
Okay.
implement it. Yeah. And again, like
Okay.
I said, and we need to finalize the form that people would actually complete. We've had conversation about it, but we've not actually designed the form.
So do we want to have city staff in that meeting where we're finalizing the incident report, or do we just want to meet as members of the planning committee to make a recommendation as a subgroup? Dini, what are your thoughts?
Well, is this process any good to us if it can't be implemented properly?
Yeah. So should we invite Richard and Sarah Tedesse, for example, to the meeting where we can speak to this item?
Yeah.
Okay. Brandy, what are your thoughts on how we can?
Sorry, what were you discussing?
We need to talk about the implementation of the shaping culture formal conflict resolution and mediation process.
Okay.
The city, because initially Richard had said that the city would support training residents and need to be mediators.
Right.
And there's been no follow through with that.
Would you like me to request, like, I'm not sure what you're asking.
Yeah, it'd be nice to regroup the shaping culture, to regroup and have a conversation with Richard and is it Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah Tedesse?
Yeah.
Okay, I
know,
can reach out and see for
either
sure.
or both, you know.
Okay.
And see if we could please pick up where we left off with the conversation around the potential to have residents trained to be mediators.
Okay. All right. I will I'll connect with you. You can make sure the language is as you want it to be, and then we'll send it off for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. No problem. We can do it first thing. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, can I speak to this?
Yeah, Michael, you can speak to this point. Go ahead, please.
So the remaining steps to be done on this sort of fall into a few different types, right? Like the completion of the incident report, we have several draft questions available. The completion of that has to be done, but that's more similar to the work we've already done. I mean, not that the city can't participate, but that's not what we need the city for. And then, so the next steps are training. I wouldn't go so far as to say that people cannot mediate if they haven't had training, but I've always agreed that we should have training. So there is that step, and that does involve the city. The other thing is that the process proposes the existence of a conflict resolution administrator. We have to decide, are we asking the city to somehow support that or not? I don't personally think it needs to be a funded position, but if that's what we're asking for, then that's what we're asking for. So yes, there are several steps that would need to be done. I don't think they're all exactly sort of things to necessarily ask the city, but some of them are. So we could have a meeting with the city. I'm just sort of saying that the steps that we need to take fall into a few different types. They're not exactly the same thing. Like some are more related to the city, some less so. That's all I'm saying. But we do need, but at least some of those steps do require the city, or at least would benefit from the city. So I'm okay with setting up a meeting. I just wanted to put out my perspective on what the steps are.
Okay, that sounds great. I think we have a way forward. Brandy, you will support that meeting request so that we could make a case for resources to support the implementation of the Shaping SDP Culture formal process, as Dini articulated.
And
any questions?
Keep us informed as to anything they say about meeting dates so that we're all on the same page.
Sounds good. I will do so.
Following this discussion, it was agreed to engage city staff and Shaping Culture Committee to meet and develop a process of implementing the policy across the network, including coming up with an incident reporting form and a process for dealing with allegations of bullying or harassment, support and training of resident mediators, and inquiring about the city's intention to appoint a mediator. The January 29 meeting of the SDP Planning Committee concluded with a discussion about the proposed February 24, 2026 orientation session.
We are planning to host an orientation session on February 24th. We're going to be asking members of the planning committee and the co-chairs of the working group to put together a slide for each of the working groups on when they meet. So Safety Network meets regularly on is it the first or second Monday of the month? So we want to make sure that we have those. Is it, sorry, the third?
I thought it was the third, but I may be wrong.
Are you sorry, which group?
Safety Network.
The third Monday of every month.
Yeah, third.
Third. And then community building is also doing it on the third Monday, but in the afternoon. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the communications is
Starting
Adonis.
February.
Welcome. Sorry?
No, Adonis is here. Let him speak.
Sorry, I missed what we're talking about. Go ahead.
We're talking about the SDP orientation for new members.
Yeah, I think we were meeting the first Monday of each month.
First Monday of each month at 5 o'clock?
5:30, yeah.
At 5:30 p.m. So the first Monday of every month at 5:30 p.m. And the EED is going to come to some resolution, hopefully at their next meeting, hopefully by next week, which will give us enough time, I think, to put this information together. I just want to let everyone know that at our next planning committee meeting on the 5th, we're going to focus on what we're going to share with new members. We did have some new members today who asked some very important questions, and I want to acknowledge that we are going to dedicate some time just to unpack all the great work that's been done through the working groups, but also how residents can get involved. Does anyone have questions or any comments related to the orientation of new members?
I see a hand up from Gail. Is that an old hand?
Gail, go ahead.
I think more so clarity. Wasn't it that the last time Adonis with the working group are working on kind of what that content looks like, and that we already asked the working groups for their meeting times?
Adonis,
are we asking them again?
No, we just confirmed some of the meeting times. We know that 3 of the working groups have determined regular meeting times.
Can't hear you.
I mean, if we've asked them, we should kind of wait for them to give us the information, and then, there's only like 2 or 3 people on this call, and then, do as we had said, right? Which is to send it out to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm.
Well, if we gathered this information already, is it not available?
Yeah, folks, just to recap. Yeah, so the communications will be meeting on Monday. Everyone's welcome to attend the communications. It's actually the Volunteer and Communications Working Group.
Mhm.
We're going to
Have
be
you set
reviewing
up
the
a meeting
information.
connection for that?
Pardon?
Have you set up a connection for that?
I haven't yet. I think it was set up. Wasn't that set up, Waleed? Didn't you set it up on the Google Drive?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
already
Yes, I
set
did.
up.
I don't have it. Is it on the calendar?
I'm not sure we did that one.
I will resend it to all of you, my friends.
I,
This is
I
Monday the 2nd, correct?
yeah.
Yeah, it's here.
Anyways,
Yeah, Adonis, Marshida, Dini, Gail, and
everyone's
Brandy.
welcome to join that, but we'll be looking at that piece both in terms of the orientation outreach and for the orientation, developing the content for it, and as well as looking at longer term strategies to recruit people and change how we basically outreach.
Yeah, I found it on the calendar.
So I'll just add it to the agenda so that people can
Yeah, just
see what
accept
we're
it.
talking about. The meeting is happening on Monday, February 2nd from 5 to 5:30 p.m. Yeah, 5:30 p.m. Thank you, Dini, for confirming it's on the agenda. So if you're interested in supporting this orientation process, please attend the meeting on Monday, February 2nd at 5:30 p.m.
Oh, I have a problem. I just volunteered to help with there's something going on at Daniel Spectrum from 4 to 8.
For the Workforce Integrator Project, yes.
Yeah, I volunteered.
Yeah, so don't worry about this. Is just more to help plan for the SDP orientation, Karen,
Okay, so it's okay if
which
I'm
you will
not
be
there. I'm going to be
attending
in the
that one.
building.
Yeah, yes. So
Okay.
this is just a prep work for that important orientation on the 24th.
The 24th.
Yes, that's the one
Yeah.
you want to really attend because that's going to
Okay.
be the orientation. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying, Karen. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, the next piece was just a reminder. So we know there are vacancies. We'll make sure that the SDP communications meeting, they also speak to those vacancies.
We're losing you, really.
And then, specifically the agency vacancies as well. For those that
I hear about every third word you say.
I'm sorry, I'm just saying that the communications meeting on the 2nd, which will focus on the SDP orientation for new members, can also highlight how to get more engaged to the working groups and the vacancies. So if you're a market resident and you want to join EED, or a TCC resident and want to join EED, or if you want to be a TCC co-chair for community building, or whatever the vacancies are, so that people identify those opportunities to contribute to the leadership of the working groups. So that's just a quick reminder. Now I'm going to pass it back to Brandy. Can we go through the announcements?
No, I have a
Brandy,
question
there were some
for
changes.
for
I think
Adonis.
that, sorry, go ahead, Michael.
A question for Adonis.
Go ahead.
Do you want me at the Monday meeting to explain the evaluation process for the year so that your working group can participate?
No, Michael, I don't think that's the best time to do that. I think we're just going to be focused on the orientation and communication strategies, but happy to have make a future meeting that focus.
Okay.
And of course, you're always
Go ahead,
welcome
Fran.
to the orientation
No,
meeting.
I'm interested in the other parts as well, so I'll
Okay,
still
yeah,
come.
sure. Please come.
Interested members were encouraged to attend the upcoming Communications Working Group meeting on Monday, February 2nd, 2026. Following this discussion was an announcement about upcoming community events.
Can everybody see the screen okay? And you're looking at the agenda under the announcements. So we've got a lot happening in February. February is a very busy month.
Okay.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we can hear
just
you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, February is a very busy month with full of different events and all to support Black History Month as well. So, Saturday, February 21st is the BGC, Boys and Girl Club Kiwanis Black History Month event, and that has several partnerships, including the SDP, Toronto Community Housing, Daniels, plenty other different organizations, including the Regent Park Health Center, all coming together to celebrate this youth-led Black History Month. But then there is another one that TNG, in collaboration with Rasta Fest, is having their Black History celebration, and that's on February 26th from 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. And then we've got wonderful Karen who does
actually I'm going to
her
stop
very
you. Sorry. We've
yep.
had some conflicts with the date, so it's actually going to be March 1st. We're going to extend the February weekend one day.
Okay. So yours is going to be March 1st.
Sunday, March 1st, yes.
Perfect. Okay. All
And then
right.
I have a
Thank you.
quick question. For the Rasta Fest one, is that at Daniel Spectrum?
No, it's going to be at 349 Ontario Street at the TNG facility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can find out more, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with that.
It's the old Central Neighborhood House.
Oh, okay, okay, I
And
know
they're
it.
now called TNG, but it's
Oh,
there on
okay,
Ontario Street,
okay,
349.
okay, perfect. Thank you, Dini. Yeah,
All
March
right.
1st. Actually, it's 4 to 9, not 3 to 8. Sorry for the celebration. The time is 4 to 9.
4 to 9.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Brandy.
No problem.
I
And
kept
if you
sending
check your WhatsApp,
Waleed all these messages because it kept changing. And then I had the
okay,
21st, but I didn't want to compete with the
Yeah.
youth led one. So I'm glad I went to March 1st, even though it's technically not February, but
okay, no worries. And I
yeah.
reached out to you to WhatsApp so you can respond and we
Yeah,
can set up
I saw that.
an in
Thank you.
office. Okay, no problem. All right. So I think that's it for announcements. Does anyone here have an announcement about an event or
No,
anything?
but I did have another business item,
Okay,
Okay,
and
sure.
so
it's
we
just
we've
to
got
send a
two.
friendly reminder to John Smith to please schedule the meeting that we were supposed to have with the third party facilitator.
Okay, send a friendly reminder to John Smith about.
Can't hear
Okay,
you.
send a friendly reminder to
Thank you.
John Smith about the meeting with the third party facilitator, right? Meeting about the third party facilitator, correct?
Yeah, I don't know if they've selected it by now. I would think they've already selected, but we just need to pick that up because it's been now since November.
Okay, good call. That's 2
Okay,
months
sorry.
behind.
One more edit. It's actually the 11th year for my. I told her the 14th, but it's the 11th. I was looking at stuff and I realized my numbers weren't right. So it's the 11th year. Sorry, Brandy. Thank you.
No
Oh my
worries.
gosh, you're so fabulous. I
Well,
would
he's
still
been
be
doing
looking.
most of it. I just helped him out with the 11th. That
Okay,
was
that's
mostly it.
perfect. Yeah.
No worries.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, my friend. That's really helpful. So we're going to get this information out to the community. I just want to thank all of you for spending almost 2 hours with us today to discuss the agenda items. We've had a lot of new faces. Shahan, thank you for coming. Clarence, thank you for coming. Earlier today, we had friends from Art Hubs, Fazla from the Toronto Birth Center. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, who am I? Adonis, for joining us and leading the effort on Monday to support our outreach activities for new members. We are going to have a lot of new faces. So I think it's really important that we give them the best orientation possible. And Dini, thank you for identifying the gaps both in the letter and in the shaping SDP culture document. So hopefully we will bring closure to both items. Thank you, and please take care of yourself. And if you need any additional support, reach out to our amazing SDP coordinator, Brandy Skinner, who is Community Gem. and loved by so many of us. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit us on all our social media platforms. Please visit our website for more information.